First of all, thank you so much for this. Literally, like everyone said, echo the fact of just perfect timing. So excited to be introduced to you. I don't know if I've been living under a rock or what's been going on, but just a little bit of my story. I was in Jessie Lee Ward's coaching, and with her passing, really was looking for a space. And Craig Siegel, I was now a business coach, and then that's how I got introduced to you. So brand new,
Wow.
but I am loving all of your content. It's incredible.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I am literally could not be more in a reinvention season of life, and I'm 40 and a single mom of four kiddos. So
Wow.
much, but
Are
my
you overwhelmed? Just curious. Are
no,
you ever busy or stressed? Okay.
a couple days a week. So my mentality has been people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So, but I feel like I have these two sides of my life that I'm trying to meld together. But when I take a step back from my social media, I'm like, Jen, you look like a used car salesman. Like, I don't think people even know what you're even trying to do, what you're trying to sell. So by day, I am in financial services. So I do health insurance, life insurance, and retirement. I have a team. I love it. It's super fun. And it's actually the part of my story that I feel like is the chapter of me betting on myself and rebuilding and building an agency that I'm proud of. But my passion project is my podcast I started over the fall called Be
Amazing.
Genuine with Jen. And I'm really vulnerable over, like, I'm not telling you how to get the seven figures and how to do this. I'm just doing it, and I'm not going to stop till I get to my dreams, and I'm taking you along on my journey. And so I think our authenticity is our superpower. And so stepping into that and out of all the lies that we believe. So all of that to say, I have a lot of messaging, and I feel like I'm pushing the podcast, but I also use social media to build my financial service business. So I
Oh,
do
cool.
all of that through social media. That's how I get my clients. But the more I've pushed the podcast, the less interaction I'm getting for businesses. And so I'm not really alive on LinkedIn, really just Facebook and Instagram. So kind of your thoughts on, do I do all the things, all the places? Do I divide and conquer with messaging? I'd
Yeah.
love to hear your insight.
Yeah. First, I just want to say, isn't it crazy? So I just want to reflect to all of you because we've all been in this spiral before. I have been consistently posting on social media daily for 12 years. I've been doing this like side hustle gig thing since 2012, went full time in 2017. I'm not tooting my own horn, have been on a lot of stages, a lot of podcasts, had lots of clients, had lots of success. And yet you didn't know who I was? What? How funny when we put out one post, we talk about our offer one time during our launch, and we're like, it didn't work. Nobody enrolled. Yet someone could be consistent for over a decade, and there are still people who don't know who you are. Do we see that? Do we see the irony there? Do you see what I'm trying to say to all of you in the most loving way? It's our job to continue to show up and post over and over and over and over. And whether or not one person saw it or they didn't see it or how many emails you sent, that's the game. That's the game. So thank you for sharing that. You just came across who I am. I'm so glad we got to be introduced through Craig. Okay. Are you building your own business outside of this 9 to 5?
Well, it's not 9 to 5. I'm complete independent. So I build my own agency with my own agents. And so no, so it's completely my own thing.
Okay. But the other thing that you're building is that are you wanting to build a second business?
Well, so the only thing I'm really building right now, is the only thing I'm getting paid for, is my financial service agency, is bringing on, hiring other agents, getting licensed, and I coach them like as an agent, and they build their own at home
Sure.
business. Right now, my podcast is, I would love
But it's not
ultimately,
a podcast about financial stuff. It's a
no, no, no.
passion project.
Yes, it's about mindset. Because if I
Yeah.
hadn't done personal development and mindset, I wouldn't have gotten myself out of a horrific relationship and rebuilt my life. And so that's what I'm talking about, is
Yeah.
developing a strong mindset to get yourself out of the crap of life.
Okay. Here's my advice. I'm going to give you two options and they're the complete opposite. So the first one is, it sounds like the financial stuff already has legs to stand on, and that's, you've been getting clients through social media and it's kind of dissipated a little as you've started to kind of move away from it. So on one hand, I would say just only talk about the financial stuff on that account. I'm not an advocate for having multiple pages because it's already hard enough to have one page. But at the same time, if there's clout and credibility and relationships and content and it was working and it was clear, I would just do that over there. And if you wanted to create something new, more of like your personal brand, where you're going to do mindset and maybe step into coaching in a different arena, and that's connected to your podcast, of course, you can have a separate page. Again, running two is hard. But what I would say is, as you start to introduce other topics and offers that really aren't super related, you're naturally going to have fall off. Not a bad thing, but what you could do is, oftentimes when we do that, you want to maybe go a little bit slower. So if 100% of your content was financial, back in the day, I was a trainer for 18 years. My whole business was built in health and fitness. So 100% of my content was fitness content. And then naturally, after 6, 7 years, people were asking me how I had success. And so I started to do a little bit of business content, a little bit of social media. So it was like 100% and 0% went to 90-10. And then over time, whether that's a couple of weeks, a couple of days, a couple of months, it was like 80-20, 70-30, 60-40. And I stayed at 50-50 for a really long time. Now, going back to Diane's question, this is where sometimes I'm like, you have something special when you're starting from scratch, because I was at 50-50 for a really long time, meaning 50% of the content that I was putting out was about fitness and people who cared about their fitness journey. And 50% of it was people who wanted to build their businesses. Very much different person. And over time, then it went 40, 60, 30, 70, 20, 80, 90, whatever, right? Until it went, now I never talk about fitness. People don't even know I was a trainer, which is crazy. My point being, I had a very big audience. So I used to have a different Instagram page. I had 26,000 followers, not very big, but big. But even doing this over time, the majority of the 26,000 didn't care at all about business stuff. And it was really difficult to call in the new people for the business stuff. I had a lot of health and fitness people following me. And so I made the decision 2 years ago to shut that page down completely, start a new page, change my name. My last name is not DeRose. That's my husband's name. My legal name is still Glazer. And I did so for a couple of reasons. One being that it's just, they didn't care about what I was doing anymore. So I say all that to say, I'm always an advocate for us being the brand. Sarah Blakely is the founder of Spanx. She is not Spanx. Spanx has its legs and it can stand on its own. Of course, it's a huge company with a big team and a lot of money, so they can have their own page, but she has her brand where she speaks on stages and she does events with her husband and she can have whatever she's doing, writing a book. So what I love for my clients is, if you could be the whole kit and caboodle, Jess Glazer DeRose, I'm the one, I'm the brand. I'm an investor. I'm a philanthropist. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. I've got lots of different coaching. I can sell physical products. I can host retreats. And as the head of the octopus, all of these things that I do are tentacles. So if you can, it might take time, create it so that you, Jen Gray, are just the head of the octopus and financial stuff is one of the legs. And then mindset stuff is one of the legs. Here's the thing, mindset falls into everything that anybody does. So you can connect the stories, and the story goes, I've been a trainer for 18 years. I built up this super successful business. That's what makes me credible. I've been through all these mindset things. I've gone through all this growth. I've made all these mistakes, and now I can teach you how to. And so there is a way, and I'm saying two opposite things. It's like, have the one page if it's already working, and then have the other page. Kind of stinks to have two, or just have it all under one. Get to a place where you're ping-ponging the content back and forth. But the most important thing is that when you're doing the mindset, like the new stuff, you have to connect the dots and make it make sense for the people that were already there. Why does the mindset matter in the financial? Why does the working on yourself matter in the building the team? Why does the getting over the limiting belief matter in the making of the sale? Right? So if you can connect the dots, you're fine.
Thank you so much.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.